Welcome Atlanta United family, and not just Atlanta, but MLS overall. As we all know, Atlanta United is obviously not in the playoffs, but we're still here covering the playoffs. So, uh, well, we don't have Tommy with us today. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it, but we have our boy James here and our guest for the week. Well, technically, he's one of us now. Tyler, thank you for being on here, man. I think
Definitely.
you're muted or something. I wasn't able to hear you.
Still can't hear me?
No,
Yeah, I
you
hear you
you're
now.
good.
All right.
Okay. There we go. I'll just speak louder.
Yeah. So the first round of the playoffs are basically over with, and we're starting the second round. But just a quick recap of who was playing against who. The first game that we had over the weekend was New York Red Bulls against Cincinnati. I don't know, man. I think that Red Bulls, they're just a shame club. I mean, the attendance, the support that they had, everything was
Don't
just.
even play in New York.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's crazy that you have the New York Red Bulls playing at Red Bull Arena, and then you have NYFC playing in City Field, playing in the Mets
they
baseball
showed up.
stadium, which is a bad look for MLS overall. But I don't know if any of you guys watched that game. I was able to watch some of it, and you kind of knew that Cincinnati was just a better team overall. They've been really consistent throughout the year. Acosta and Brandon Vasquez, Brenner. I mean, they're guys that are dangerous. I mean, you can't give them any space, and they were able to take advantage of it in the last couple, or basically that second goal that they got against the Red Bulls. The other game that kind of surprising, but not so much, was the Galaxy against Nashville. The Galaxy they went up 1-0, and then that's how it ended. There wasn't really much to it. Technically, I mean, I don't know. I just think that Nashville was just gonna put up a better fight, honestly. But
Yeah. I don't know. That
uh,
Cincinnati game though, to me, man, it's frustrating because from an Atlanta perspective, you're like, back when Cincinnati was still kind of finding their footing, you go back to that match in May where it was 0-0 and Atlanta had like, I don't know, 367 shots and like 8 on goal. Um, but couldn't put anything away. And then I think that was the one where Moreno missed the penalty or had Alec Can block the penalty.
Yeah,
And those 3 points would have been huge at home for Atlanta coming into those last couple of games. And it sucks, but credit to Cincinnati, man. They've come out and you talking about Brenner and Vasquez and those guys, like that's the chemistry that you're kind of hoping, Araujo and Moreno and Martinez and Almada would all kind of develop at Atlanta, but they've found something that works, man, and they're doing it.
yeah. Well, I personally think they will be eliminated in 2 hours from now. But I, I mean, the fact that we 0-0 that game and Can doesn't even start for them anymore. I get that there's injuries, but that one was crazy. But yeah, I mean, going back to Red Bull, I mean, they're a team that usually like had our number. They're a team that plays dead, and Cincinnati. I mean, that game was not great. I mean, the Red Bulls scored like a crazy goal, and it was just quite jammy. But yeah, the the Red Bulls. I don't think they're a team next year that's gonna perform as well in the regular season as they did this year. But we'll have to see.
I mean, they had that good run of form away in the beginning of the season where they were just doing so well. Like they
Yeah,
sucked at home and they would just do really well on the road, and it was kind of wild. But you always kind of felt like that was gonna stop at some point, and it clearly did. Halfway through the season, and then I think the true colors finally shown. But it's funny because you look at the amount of money they spend compared to Philly. Well, really, Philly compared to anybody because they don't spend money, and here they are, like you said, probably about to eliminate Cincy, even though they haven't been in the best form coming up to the playoffs. But I mean, New York is they're not spending money either, but there's such a vast difference between the coaching and the style of football that they play. And I think everybody here as an Atlanta fan, like you get frustrated when you see Red Bulls because they press and it's just frustrating. It's overwhelming, but like it clearly hasn't translated into the results in the playoffs ever.
Yeah. And I mean, I just lost it. I lost it. I'm back.
I mean, yeah, the system that New York or the Red Bulls technically have implemented. I mean, that's something that I don't know if it's since the what's it called, like the academy. I'm pretty sure that obviously they work like the same system, from the academies all the way up to the first team, obviously. But I feel like if they were able to, or they decided to go out and spend money, eventually they would maybe be in that title contention. But yeah, it seems like even Philly, man, I don't see them making a MLS Cup. I just don't see them winning it going all the way. I don't think that they're a team that just. I'm not gonna say it's talented, but it's just they're just dirty. They play dirty, honestly.
Y'all know my feelings about Philly, man.
Yeah, it's the time wasting. Everything is just so horrendous about how, and I get it, man. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to win, but it's frustrating to see that, man.
There's a difference between that and garbage football.
Yeah,
I don't like Philly plays garbage football. Credit to them because they're doing great. Like, I give them credit because they've made it. Here we are, a couple of games away from the cup. Potentially, they have a chance to go through. But and then going back to what was it, 2020, or that was Columbus.
Last year, whenever they had that whole COVID outbreak.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's what it was. But yeah, I mean, credit to them because they've been somewhat consistent, but they've also been consistent with their garbage football, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a difference you can tell between talent and how the talent plays together, and that's just Philadelphia's definition at the moment.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're going to lose Wagner potentially? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
There's a lot of uncertainties with that team, but I mean, they're always that team. They're going to make the playoffs. I don't understand. I hate them for that CCL game in 2020 that was 2020.
Yeah.
That was just crap, but
I think the only guy that I can say that I honestly have somewhat type of respect in that team has to be Andrew Blake. That's the only guy that for me is like, all right, I wouldn't mind him, even in any team or any he's just a likable guy because he's good. He's good at what he does.
Yeah.
And you just can't hit on him, like seriously. But everybody else is like, yeah. I mean, everybody else just seems to want to do things the dirty way, basically.
Oh, but like every goalkeeper, he takes his time on those goal kicks. But he's still fantastic. I mean,
didn't he get a yellow card in the Atlanta match, the last one?
I don't remember, but probably. But isn't he up for MVP? Like Andre Blake as a goalkeeper?
Yeah, I think this is.
He got a goalkeeper of the year.
Yeah, this is the third one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it's. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, he's for me been one of the most consistent goalkeepers, probably for the past 5 years in MLS, and the fact that he's. I don't know personally if he's gotten any offers or anything from outside of the U.S., but the fact that they've been able to keep him is, pretty impressive, honestly.
He's kind of low key.
Yeah.
Him and Sean Johnson are like the two that come to mind of like those are the elite guys that every year they're gonna play well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like they're guaranteed to have, not many goals conceded. I mean, obviously you gotta have a good defense too, but they're good. I mean, you gotta give them credit, honestly.
Yep.
The other game the Sunday games, Austin and Salt Lake. I was able to watch that one. Honestly, I was kind of surprised that Austin was down 2-0 before the 15 minutes.
It was so close, man.
Yeah, that was a weird one, man.
I mean, that's just a typical RSL playoff game. It was just absolute chaos. But sadly, Justin Miram didn't get into that game.
Yeah,
because they had to sub in like 6 defenders by the end of it. But yeah, it's just penalties. I mean, it's exactly what Nashville did last year. You put yourself in a game and then you just totally blunder the penalties. It's absolute killer.
I think RSL was basically trying to do what they did last year against the Sounders, just hold it off until the last minute
Yeah.
and just
Yeah.
take it to penalties. I
But
mean,
that's-
which they did, but I mean, they didn't have what's his name? The goalkeeper that RSL had last year, man. I forgot his name.
Choa.
Yeah, David
Yeah.
Ochoa.
because he went to DC, didn't he?
Yeah.
Do they still have Bobby Wood? Wasn't he? Didn't he score against like SKC in the last minute last year?
I think he's still in the team if I'm not mistaken, but he didn't play this Sunday. I don't remember honestly.
I mean, but
But
that's an RSL team that Ronaldo Cisneros scored like a first half brace on. So
yeah, I mean, and a lot of I've been seeing. I actually got a couple more than a few Austin fans who follow me on Twitter, and I've been seeing a lot of them, basically talking trash about how many of the MLS experts were giving them the crappy standing basically being last in the West, 11th, 12th. Basically, I don't think nobody put them above 10th place in the Western Conference. And they ended up getting, second seed, which, I mean, from the beginning of the season, I think we've kind of seen how Austin, has implemented as well their style, and they're playing well. They've got a good, core team. They've got MLS experience. They got young talent. It's what you need. That's exactly what you need to win championships. You can't have all these flashy players. You can't have just old guys. It has to be a mixture of a little bit of everything, basically.
I mean, but I think the team that can stop them easily is like Ariel of Velasco and Ferreira. I mean, they're gonna come through. It's gonna definitely be a good game.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of Ariel hate like recently, and I think it's funny, but especially since I know he's gonna make the World Cup roster because that's just how it goes, just to piss people off. But,
Yeah.
That's probably. I mean, that's one I'm gonna watch all of them, but I mean that's circled on the.
Yeah, to me, that's my biggest one. Like, I know El Tráfico is going to be like, whatever. It's going to be what it is because it's LA. But
yeah,
again, I just want LAFC to get the crap beat out of them. But yeah, I mean, Austin. I think everybody. The same thing about Cincy though. Everybody was saying there's no way they're gonna do anything higher than like 11th or 12th. Because you don't expect teams like that to just turn around like they have. But MLS is a league where you can legitimately do that. I mean, and especially I think really the biggest one to me is Austin because they have some, decent moves, but there wasn't anything huge to me in the offseason. Like they basically kept what didn't work last year and somehow made it work this year. And then, boy John Galler is over there and he's getting plenty of time and kudos to him. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny because obviously there's always that thing going around, Twitter now over the past couple of weeks where freaking coach pulled out the list that everybody had on MLS, like Sam Jones and all the guys from MLS's website with their predictions earlier in the season. He's like, this is what they thought about y'all earlier.
Look, those things, people blow that up for no reason. It's how are you going to predict the league? I'm going to try this year, and I'm telling you, it'll be like flipped on the other side. It just doesn't make sense.
Especially with MLS, man, you can't predict, anything, honestly, man. It's not like the Premier League where you're like, all right, Man City's going to be fighting for the title.
Yep.
Liverpool, Chelsea, but you just don't know with MLS. Literally, it's as crappy as it is sometimes, with everything with the salary cap and everything. That's the one thing that I give props to MLS, that they're able to keep that parity, and it all comes down to how you're able to build that team, the coaching that you have, and the pieces that you're able to bring in.
It's got to be more strategic for sure.
Yeah,
you can't just throw money at the problem and hope the problem goes away. Case in point.
Yeah.
Wolf's good. We have the best Wolf though. He doesn't even play.
Two of the best Wolves.
That's another loan that confusing. I was looking at it up during the Austin game because I thought of Wolf, and he just doesn't play for this team, and that's really confusing. and their season like ends and right before ours, which is all sorts of confusing. But I thought he would be playing a little bit. He gets like 5 minutes off the bench sometimes. It's kind of interesting to me.
And then is it his uncle? I forget how the family works, but he's the video review guy for Atlanta United. So you've got the Wolves are everywhere. I mean, obviously, you got Coach Austin, then one of the kids plays for Austin, and then now Tyler Wolf's over there in Belgium doing his thing. But then, yeah, the one of the I don't know. Again, I don't know how the family works, but yeah, he's the video review guy for Atlanta United.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The other game that Sunday was Montreal against Orlando. I'm so glad Orlando went out, man.
Orlando.
That's honestly, I think out of the first round, I think I got all the picks right except I'll get to the Monday games, but Montreal, honestly, I think that they're a team that if they face Philly, I think that Montreal's got a more talented team, honestly, than Philly. And I think that they are going to be the ones to go to the the MLS Cup. I mean, from the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the Montreal hype train is insane. I feel like everyone's predicting them to make the final, which is quite interesting. But I like them. They're cool.
See, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be them, man. Personally,
me neither. It could be any of these four teams from
yeah. But they're another one though that started off so terrible and then they found their footing, which just goes to show, like, what you can do in this league if you just find form at some point. Because like it seems like almost all the teams that are in the playoffs, even the ones that have been since eliminated, like they didn't start the best. I mean, Philly maybe and LAFC. Those are really the two that were kind of like no doubters from pretty early on, and maybe Austin, I guess, to a degree. But
NYFC, I mean, NYFC was another team that they started off really bad, and they picked that up towards the end of the season.
They were in a train wreck when they lost their coach. They were like the worst team in the league. They lost like 5 straight games. They were terrible, and I was like, okay, that's good. That'll move Atlanta up, and then they go off. It's silly. If they make it back without Castellanos, that's insane.
Yeah, because when he left, I was like, oh, that's
over.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get into the Monday games, which that NYFC game against Miami. I got to watch that entire game, and honestly, NYFC as well. I mean, they've got their style, man. The goal that I think it was the second goal that they score, or the third. I don't remember exactly, but the way that basically every single player was able to touch the ball and like the movement on and off the ball that they had. I mean, it's pure football, man. It doesn't get better than that, honestly. Back heel, I think it was Morales or somebody. I forgot who it was in that final pass, man. It was class, man. I mean,
I might be in the New York hype train, bro. That was when I'm thinking about that. They just played really good in that game. Yeah. I mean, that field looked bigger than it usually does on the other stadium. Is that one regulation at Citi Field? Or I wasn't listening to the audio, so they were probably talking about it the whole game. But
I genuinely don't know.
I felt like
that would make a freaking sham that they're playing. Like, you can't even play on your own baseball field.
I would rather them play there than Rebel Arena, though. That's just me. They showed up for them.
Yeah, I mean,
it was a pretty solid crowd. I mean, I'll give them. I think they probably had a better crowd than the Red Bulls had, honestly.
Oh, absolutely.
And I will say, props to I guess it was the team's decision, but they had the Yankees game going on at the same time, but they had a rain delay or something, and so they were playing the NYC game on the big screen at the stadium. So
shout out to the Mets as well for making that happen too by not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of with Omar on this one. NYFC should be banned from the league until they get a real stadium.
It's tough because I mean NYC sees what's going on with the Red Bulls, and like the stadium has to be in New York or it's just not gonna work. And that's obviously difficult to do.
There was some stuff coming out. I mean, there's always like rumors, but
yeah,
Yes. Yeah, I agree, Josh. You're right. But no, there was something. I think it was like 2 or 3 days ago. I saw where, like, I guess the city council was like finally really getting on board and making it like a priority to actually, I guess, allocate them a space. There's options out there to where they can, because I think Brooklyn's been one of the big. Is it Brooklyn or Queens? I can't remember. It's been one of the main ones that's been thrown up. But we'll see. It needs to be in New York proper. Like if you're not then you don't need a freaking New York team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, in New York, you can build it like your classic stadiums in England and stuff. You could just put it right there. You don't need that crazy parking.
No, especially because you have the transit system up there to be able to get there.
Exactly.
So it can happen.
Definitely.
The other game that was going on Monday was Dallas against Minnesota. Honestly, I was rooting for Minnesota. I think that's the only pick that I got wrong. I'm not a fan of Dallas, and the only reason I was rooting for Minnesota is because there's 2 guys from Honduras that play there, which I think neither one of them ended up playing that game. That one also went into penalties, and Dallas ended up winning. So, what do we rank Dallas in? Favorites to make it out of the East into the MLS Cup? Are they one of the favorites?
Dangerous. I mean, Velasco. I mean, their attack is insane. It's hard because all 8 of these teams could win, make the final. It's just probability at this point. I
still gotta go with Austin. I think Austin's gonna get it done.
I can agree with Austin. I can agree with LAFC too, but I don't know how clutch they will be. It depends. I don't know if Bale's going to start or not, if that even matters. But
today or
today. But
I think he wasn't, if I'm not mistaken. There was like something about him having issues with his
I don't think he started though, like ever. That's another crazy thing. But LA Galaxy could win that game too.
I think so unpredictable. Essentially, I think it all comes down to obviously who wants it. Like really, like who wants that glory? Who wants that? To be champions. Technically, there's probably 4 or 5 teams that any of them could win it. Honestly, but I don't know. I don't think that.
With LAFC, sometimes it just feels like it feels like they are more concerned about their freaking image sometimes. They're obviously a big club. They were able to make these 12 DP moves somehow, go into the Paul McDonough school of designated player, roster.
It's the LA poll, man.
Yeah, but it just seems like they make it to the playoffs and then they're like, okay, we're good. Like, we got a supporter shield this year. We got one back in the day. Like, we're all right. And I'm okay with that because I don't want them to win. I don't want them to win the cup. I'm like, call me a hater. It is what it is, but it just drives me crazy. Like, I don't understand how you figure out a way with the rules that are in place to be able to do all that. But whatever, got away with it. But I hope they don't make it to the cup.
I'm cool. I'm cool with Chicharito. I like watching him play too. He's a classic.
I don't know if you guys saw. This is like a podcast or something that the guys from LAFC have, and there was one of them like a viral post that was going around Twitter talking about that they rather win the supporter shield because technically that proves that they're the better team throughout the season rather than win MLS Cup. And I'm like, what kind of logic does that make, dude? Like,
you're gonna have to wait.
Go back to what was it last year? Whenever Bruce Arena said like that's technically a Mickey Mouse trophy, man.
Yeah,
like,
the garbage trophy.
Yeah. You're gonna have to wait 30 years for that trophy to be actually worth something.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I definitely agree with you when it comes to that, though. I think that they're at times like it doesn't come down everything to the field, like the playing, basically. It's just more to it. Hollywood.
Yeah, that's the whole reason Gareth Bale, like, that's why he's there. When you really come down to it, like, DC had his discovery rights or whatever, which that's a whole different topic anyway. But like, who would want to go to DC over LA? Like, you're gonna go to a place with a bunch of politicians. Like, screw all that crap. Like, I would go to LA. Like, so LA and Miami really have such a great draw for these guys that are wanting to come over here. Like, I really do think that if Messi ever does decide to come to MLS, it'll be Miami, because obviously his relationship with Beckham and all that kind of stuff. But like, you've done everything. Why would you come live in freaking Milwaukee, or like the middle of the Midwest? Like, what draw is that? Like, Atlanta just has it barely because we've got Mercedes-Benz, we've got the airport, we've got big things now. But still, like, dude, you're on the beach in a couple of these places. If you've done everything over in Europe, why would you want to go anywhere else?
Yeah.
I mean, there certain superstars. I mean, we're talking about the big names. There's definitely certain markets that they're only going to come to, and I actually just remember I had a conversation when we had the guy from Austin on here at the beginning of the year, and he's like, I mean, you guys could also make moves for like certain players like that, like big names, which we haven't till now basically. But I think that we could be one of those teams that eventually, if the new president comes in and they decide to change that philosophy to where they just go for young South American players and they actually go for guys that are proven and a big name player, basically. I think that Atlanta's in a good position, honestly. It's not Nashville, it's not Dallas, it's not even Austin. I mean, he mentioned that. He was like, I mean, who the hell would want to come play in Austin, honestly? Who the hell is going to want to play in 100-degree weather throughout the whole year, basically?
Yeah, I mean, with that, I mean, I would be cool with us to go after a guy like Benteke, like DC did for a striker. It doesn't have to be this young kid, but I mean, that's obviously what we're probably gonna do. But I mean, a guy like Benteke would be sick. But our veterans are usually just the 60,000 a year veterans. But I'm cool with that. That's also great because it's proven to work with the young guys. I mean, look how much transfer money we've made off of them, and it's like, why change that?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, from a business perspective, making money, I guess. But God, dude, like, and I guess you can't really say much about, like, in Gareth Bale's case, like, the dude wants to play golf. Like, you could probably get him over here to go to like Augusta, maybe. But like, it would be cool to see Atlanta pick up, almost like a steal, one of those guys in like the Prem or La Liga or somewhere that, I don't want to say like the retirement kind of thing, but yeah, like somebody that's done it, been there, everything, and you can snag them for a couple of years. I mean, you look like what Galaxy's doing with Chicharito. I mean, the dude's
I mean, he's not in close to his 40s or anything. I mean, the guy's like what, 32, 33, something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, somebody basically between 27, 30, between that age, it's not somebody that's just gonna come here and be injured like Gareth Bale or something like that. But I mean, there's a lot of things that just has to happen for Atlanta basically to be able to make moves like that. Because with how things are right now, it's not going to happen.
We talked about it this year a bunch. Like, we heard about Sergio Busquets' contract coming up, and we're like, dude, that would be freaking awesome over here. But I mean, it seems like the only old guys we sign are midfielders anyway. So.
Suarez, man, that'll be the big one.
Oh
yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of rumors about him coming to MLS. After the World Cup, so it could happen.
He mentioned it.
Like, is this Suarez?
Huh?
Who are we talking about? Sorry,
Luis
you
Suarez.
Like cut out. Yeah. Suarez?
Yeah.
Is he already done with what is he back in Uruguay right now? Or
I mean the championship is over there in Nacional. Like I think they won the league. Matter of fact, so I mean there was a lot of speculation about him, like even before the season ended over there in Uruguay, that he was going to end up coming here once his time was over.
Yeah, he said he wanted to make it through the World Cup and then see where it goes from there.
Oh, he's going to get replaced by Nunez as soon as possible.
Yeah. So I mean, we've kind of been talking about, the matchups that are, happening today. Obviously, I don't know what the score is right now, honestly, but Philly are playing Cincinnati. I know Chris asked about it earlier, but I'm not keeping up with it because I don't even have FS1. So
0-0.
No. Yep. It's not been much. It's been an average. This is gonna be a freaking 0-0 Pens. Like,
yeah, I
That's
wouldn't
just a
doubt
shot on goal though, so we've got that going for him.
it.
yeah.
Yeah, the other game, obviously El Tráfico. That's always a big. I'm kind of sad that I haven't, or I'm not gonna be able to watch it because, like I said, I don't have the channel as of right now because I switched servers, so I don't even have cable right now. So
Getting ready for that.
that's
Apple TV.
guaranteed. That's guaranteed goals, though. I mean that
True.
and I hate calling it El Tráfico because who the hell came up with that, man? Just call it the LA Derby. Like, seriously, who the hell came up with that?
Why would you call something bad about your city? You know,
Right.
Like, that's not the best idea.
If anything, Atlanta could have called that, call themselves, Traffic City or some BS like that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's dumb, honestly. But then there's there's a big Texas game as well. When I don't know when the game is, honestly, but Austin against Dallas. I mean, I see that.
I think this Sunday. I think they're on Sunday night. The other two.
Yeah. You get the Austin one's at 8:00, and the Montreal New York one's at 1 for some reason.
What?
Whatever.
Yeah.
Damn, that's early.
I mean, at least it'll be nice over there, I guess.
Yeah. I think actually the only game that may be like kind of boring out of the matches that we have is the one playing right now, Cincy against Philly. But yeah, New York against Montreal, I see that game, being back and forth. Also Dallas and Austin. Austin, they're not defensively, like, I don't want to say good, but they have their moments, man. Like when, last or Sunday against Real Salt Lake, they struggle. Like the first half, they struggle badly.
I feel like that one's gonna be out.
Yeah, RSL was pretty much like, every time that they actually wanted to get forward, they penetrated through the defense easily. And I see that game, being back and forth. Obviously, I still see Austin, taking that. So I want to get your guys' prediction on, the Eastern Conference Final and Western Conference Final. What are those matches? And the guys here in the comments as well, send us your opinions, your predictions on that.
All right, let's figure this out. So Philly, Cincinnati. I gotta wait 10 seconds, see if they score or something, but I'm gonna take Philly going up against. You know what? Everyone loves Montreal, and me included. But since everyone loves them, I'll go New York, and I'll also have New York. They won't make the final 2 years in a row. Surely not. You know what? They will. New York will make the final in that one, and then I'll chuck out. I'll go Austin against LAFC 1-2, and I'll be boring and go Austin in the final on that one.
All right, I'm gonna go. This I'm maybe skewed by my hate, but I'm gonna go Cincy.
Me too.
Cincy's winning tonight, and then I do think. And this is not just because I don't want them to win, but I really do think the Galaxy pulls it off, because I think they're going to take it more seriously. And New York City and Montreal, to me, that sounds like a cluster. Like it just sounds like a monkey effing a football bat. But I'm going to say Montreal and Austin.
I mean, that's been like the consensus from like everything I've seen. It's interesting. But I mean, I bet I could do like a spin the wheel for every single game and it will do better than me. So.
But yeah, I bet that's the thing. It's hard to bet on. But yeah, they Cincy, Montreal, and then Galaxy and Austin.
Josh actually agrees with you. MLS Cup will be Montreal versus Austin.
I know who you, Ariel, wants to win that MLS Cup.
Austin, man, I think they're. I literally said it since like the middle of the season. They're the team that has been playing more consistent than anybody else. I literally, I don't know why they give me like Atlanta United second year vibes. Like they're that team that
100%. That's the only reason I don't want them to win this season is because I just don't want them to win it in their second year.
Yeah,
like give me one more year. I would rather Cincy win it because then at least like they sucked it up for the first 3 seasons. And like, all right, cool, y'all got your time. But I don't want like I like Austin, I really do. I feel the same way. It's very much like Atlanta. They play like 2018 Atlanta. They're just hard to root against, But literally the only reason I don't want to win is because Atlanta's got that 2-year reign going on, and I don't want to lose that.
Maybe it's a good thing, so they'll be bad for the next years after that.
Yeah. Well, no, that means next year they're going to win like the League Cup and everything else, and then they'll be bad.
Speaking of teams like Austin, I mean, do you guys see all the stuff about Charlotte FC and the rumors they've got still for?
Yeah.
I was thinking that team was not going to spend any money and they were going to be pathetic, but I mean, they're already showing it. They have more rumors than we have. We have 0, so that's a good start. I mean, I have a vision. I wrote about it too. That one day, you're going to put 70K fans in both of those stadiums in a season, and they're both going to be like top 3 teams in the league, and that's just going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those are your 2 biggest teams, and I mean, right behind them, isn't like Nashville 3rd in attendance too, or something like that?
I think it's Seattle and then Nashville.
Yeah, Seattle, Toronto, Nashville. I mean, the East is like they're killing it in terms of support, which is
the only one freaking ruining it down here is Orlando.
Yeah, I mean that's terrible. What happened to Orlando? I mean, I think it could happen to Nashville too. Their stadium isn't located in a great spot, but it's kind of far out. But they still show up. But
it's gonna be interesting too when they come back to the East next year.
Yeah. I mean, has an interesting question here. How many more teams can the league take? Has there been rumors about any more teams getting added other than St. Louis?
Is there Vegas?
Sacramento at one point.
Oh, Sacramento. I mean,
there was also talks about Las Vegas or something like that too.
Yeah.
Are there 28 teams right now? 29 with St. Louis, something like that. I know it's unbalanced next year. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, it's got to be 30, right?
Yeah,
could they have 32? Maybe. I mean,
the thing is, you look at the way that the league is growing right now, and then you look at the way USL is growing as well, which that's a whole other topic. But like, I love it because you got Milwaukee getting ready to add a club. You got who was it that's getting ready to add a stadium? Who was? Yeah,
Memphis.
Yeah.
So like, you gotta expect. I would imagine at some point, like New Mexico got a huge following in USL. I wouldn't be surprised if some of them start throwing the money out there to get into MLS. And I mean, I could see 32 easily.
Yeah, I think I was looking like not that long ago. I think they had like 13K average fans, something around there in New Mexico, was it?
It's a bunch, yeah.
I mean, I think it's definitely possible that you have USL to MLS like promotion kind of.
I mean, that's what Nashville did. That's what Minnesota I think was the same way.
I mean, the amount of substantial growth that it's been going on in like every single league in America, and it can only get bigger with the World Cup. It's just like.
And you look at then this. I don't want to like derail topic or anything, but Tormenta down in Statesboro, down in South Georgia.
Yeah,
that is a USL League One team, and they just built a new stadium down there, and they're a fun team to watch. So I mean, and that's in Statesboro, Georgia, dude. Like
literally, yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean,
but it's awesome.
Did they play Miami? Was that them that played Miami in the Open Cup? I think it was.
They did play.
Carranza, Carranza freaking won it for them. They were actually playing pretty well. I remember. But I mean,
I don't know if you guys saw this graphic that showed basically the recent like expansion teams that have came into MLS and how much they paid, to make it to I don't remember exact figures, but I know the amount that Charlotte paid was literally it was crazy. It was, I don't want to say double, but it was at least, I don't know, man. It was just crazy. It was
Bro,
like
it's skyrocketed.
the difference between them. I don't remember who was second, whether it was LAFC or Inter Miami. I don't remember, but it was one of the newer, obviously newer franchises. But it was ridiculous the amount of money that they paid.
Yeah. I mean, I did some quick research, and basically, apparently, Garber said, we'll get to 30, and then it's a good time to break before they get 32, which is apparent. I don't know. I don't know if that's real, but that's what I read. And apparently, Vegas was in the front
Yeah, I
runner.
do remember reading something about that. And you look at like 2009, Seattle came in 30 million.
30 mil.
2012, Montreal came in for 40, and then New York City and Orlando for 100. Atlanta, Minnesota. I don't see a dollar amount, but I know it jumped up a ton. That was 100 million.
Okay.
Trying to find the most recent.
Has to be Charlotte, I believe. I mean, they're the most.
Charlotte was 325 million. And then, see, that's messed up though, because then St. Louis got it for 200 million.
I mean, I think. Well, that's the Panthers owner, David Tepper, who I have personal beef with. Not like I don't know him, but like I hate him.
Oh, I forgot. You're a Panthers fan, man.
Yeah, I'm suffering. It's whatever.
Well,
Las Vegas, Phoenix, and San Diego are still potentially.
No more California, please.
Yeah,
it's enough.
Yeah, I mean, San Jose is already. They're technically a USL team. They don't even count as an MLS team, honestly.
They feel like one. Yeah.
This is when I wish we had promotion and relegation, man. I just think it'd be fun. I think it would grow the sport quicker in this country.
I just think that's like at least 20 years, maybe 15, for that to come into fruition.
The amount of like difference between like the quality in USL and MLS is still quite a bit. Like you still gotta.
You could also the owners, man. It's just like, especially American owners. It's like, why would want to do that? But they'll never be into that. But I mean, you said about Seattle. I'm like, dude, this league's gonna start paying transfer fees for 30 million like very soon, and that's an entire like franchise, which is it's mad. It's growing.
I don't know if you guys have seen about I think Doug Robertson. I mean, and we're getting off topic with the playoffs. I mean, basically kind of cover it, basically cover what we had to cover. But there was word going around that there's the interviews going on. There's interviews happening as of now. For the potential new president coming in. Obviously, no names have been given out or anything like that, and nothing has been leaked, but. When realistically you would think that they would get this, within the next 2 months, and by the time I would say the World Cup ends, you have to have that guy literally already working there and doing what he has to do.
He needs to have his office set up and pens rolling, like making some stuff happen.
Yeah, but I feel like it's one friend of the show said this probably on a show once, like. It's going to take, you're going to have Boca. You're going to have that front office there for probably at least another year because, I mean, you can't just freaking do that. Like, as soon as you come in, that just would not work. But that's definitely a future thing. I'm not too excited about this new president as, a bunch of people are because it's whatever. I just know it's going to be, it's going to be a president with the role of, growing the city of Atlanta soccer like Darren Eales. That's my guess. That's my pessimistic guess. It's not like operations related, none of that, like signing players. But that's just me because I'm pessimistic.
I think it would go a long way though, just to just to do some of the same stuff that Darren did back in the beginning. Like,
Mhm.
back in 2017, even 2016, before they even hit the field, you had Atlanta United billboards up everywhere. Like, you had, they were drawing in folks that didn't really care about soccer and really gave the city something to be excited about even before they ever touched a ball, And I think, to your point, if they don't come in, whoever it is, if they don't come in and start making flashy signings or signings in general, whatever, they don't start making any changes, fine. But like, there's still plenty of stuff they can do to bring some kind of fun back, like
Sure.
put them back out there, put Atlanta back out there, Atlanta United. And, just you want to keep that big team kind of status and not be kind of pushed back to, we play in the Falcon Stadium. Like, no, that's Atlanta United Stadium. I don't care. And that's how it needs to stay, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's just. I mean, GP brought some of that back. Pineda, more than Heinze, of course, which is a different situation. But like training with the fans and all that stuff, and more openness. But
Even the
it's
media
just time,
access,
man.
I mean, that everybody was kind of like iffy about that whenever Heinz was there, and then everything
Yeah.
changed. Yeah, like you said, whenever Pineda arrived.
Yeah.
I mean, but just things in general. I mean, these fans, like, you obviously want to grow your brand, gain more fans. But I mean, the fans right now just want this team to play good. They don't care about what brand we're trying to create, and that's got to be the number one.
You see, I don't even think it comes down to us playing the way that we did 2017, 18, and even part of 2019. I think it comes down to getting results, man, because that's what we've been lacking essentially. Because there's been times where we've actually played well, but we haven't gotten results, and that's what the fans have been more frustrated about more than anything. Because at times the team has had the opportunities, has created chances. It's all been there. It's just a matter of not getting the result, not being able to walk away with the 3 points. That's essentially what it's come down to.
All right. It's crazy because you look back at 2019 and everybody was like, God, we just want to have fun soccer again. But we were still winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost won a trouble, dude.
Yeah. And like, and it pissed everybody off when DeBoer said it. He was like, man, y'all fans are spoiled.
He gets it. But he gets it.
Yeah. That's messed up.
We're not spoiled anymore, though. So.
No. I will. So, but to go back, Ariel, to your question, like, I actually reached out to him today to try to get some kind of like date, something. I was like, I don't even if it's not a hard date, like, are we talking like by MLS Cup or like by the end of the World Cup, or are we talking like January 1st? And
yeah,
they won't say.
Friend of the show, Doug Robertson, by the way. One time.
Yeah, I think it's gonna come down to, I think, by the end of the world. I don't think right now nothing's, obviously, if they're still interviewing people, they still have to look at each specific individual, whatever they're bringing into the table. And what we're basically almost done with October. What, next week? Yeah, we're 23, 24, something like that. So I don't think that is going to happen within the next month. I highly doubt that, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just watching this crap on my TV where Philly they're going crazy. I mean, Blake ran up all the way on the field to argue about a slide. It was a good slide tackle. It's just the Philly player rolled a couple times. It's so annoying.
Garbage.
Typical Philly.
They're diving everywhere. One shoulder and they're straight to the ground. But
garbage football.
I won't hate too much.
Yeah, Chris is right though. I mean,
yeah, the fan base has become numb. Like, seriously.
Like, I'm excited about next year. I am. Like, I'm always excited. I freaking love this club.
Exactly.
I don't know what to expect. This is the hardest offseason to predict because of the president thing. And like, I do think World Cup, like you said, by the end of the World Cup would be good. I'd prefer before then because you have a bunch of stuff going on in November that like needs to be figured out. There's like a lot of the the dates that don't really matter, probably to the public as much, but as far as like roster building that happened in November, and that somebody needs to be in charge of that knows what they're doing.
Aberdeen's also coming to the town too, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, this offseason with the combination of everyone wants 10 plus players gone, and obviously all the new changes, it's gonna be silly, and I feel like it'll be more of the same roster, just a little bit on some ways. Obviously, one missing Gap, who's the greatest player in the team's history, but other than that, I just like even a guy like Moreno, who like you could have the signs where we get rid of him. And it's like I don't even know if we will. And there's definitely like these players have potential. They're great freaking players, and I mean, get another off season, and it's about. There's so many times where we got so close, and even then, how bad of a season it was. We were basically 2 games off the playoffs. We played that Philly team in Atlanta. We smacked them around and just couldn't score. It's it's a combination of stuff. And if this team, like I said, they've been putting up 20 shots, 25 shots with 10 on target every game. It's like it's gonna snap one day. And you just need to play like Pineda said. He's like, I tried to play to what these players would best play. It's time to get players that will play what my vision for the future is, and it's like that's the main goal. And obviously,
I will say that was having listened to him say that in person, it was like I honestly, because he's so iffy about the stuff that he reveals, and I get it. You don't want to. I'm not saying he's trying to trash talk anybody, but you don't want to ever talk and imply to your players that you don't think they're capable.
Yeah.
But he came out in that press conference after that match and essentially was like, yeah, I mean, if I had the players to do this, I would do it. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. But he mentioned like, if I had 2, really tall strikers and guys that can get in behind, like I would do it in a heartbeat, but I don't have that. So
Adam Jean, man.
34 goals in USL.
I mean, dude, to be fair,
he got that goal against Orlando, though.
If we get Benteke, I mean, Brooks Lennon will be the greatest right back of all time. I swear. That kid can pass the ball, but to who? Because there's no one to pass to. There's no one to cross to. They don't go in the box. And when they are, they don't do anything.
The thing about, like you said, James, about most of, and I'm one of those, like, if I stand, as a fan and I'm like, all right, yeah, a lot of these guys that are here right now, they're just not, they don't work well together as of now. But if it happens to, whatever happens this offseason and they don't end up making any crazy moves where they move 3, 4, or 5 guys out and they keep, the same guys basically around, I mean, potentially you could end up having, that cohesion eventually building up, which that's what we honestly, deep down, I'd hope that's what happens. If for whatever reason we're not able to bring in, guys or anything like that, then I hope that it comes down to the guys that are there, being able to, whatever they have to do, man, to work well and get the results. But I mean, they I'm not saying that they've been playing crappy all year, but like I mentioned earlier, there's many times where they played really, really good, even against Philly, that last game that they played in, I think it was a draw or something.
Yeah.
And they played so well, but you don't walk away with the 3 points. That's what really bothers everybody, honestly.
It should be finishing training all winter.
Yeah.
And they talked about it, because that was the biggest thing last year. I remember Pineda, like I can hear it in my head, him using the term clinical. And like it's just, I don't know. You have to have that quality if you're going to play that style of football, because it's one thing to be a counterattacking team where you have, acres of space to be able to take a shot because you've broke away from defense. But if you're going to try to play through, that's great. It looks pretty, but you got to be able to put the ball in the back of the net with minimal space. And I mean, Almada can do it. Joseph can do it when he's on. Luis we haven't really seen that he's able to do that consistently. And again, Luis, I still think just had a crappy off year, really. One of your guys is going to be taking shots from outside the box, and you know, God knows he did it plenty of times this season. But yeah, I mean, if that's the identity that you're going to have, cool. But yeah, dude, finishing drills like nonstop.
Yeah, we had a fun little stat the other day. Our boy put in the group chat, and it was like Rossetto versus Sosa passing stats. And I think like Rossetto had probably like a whole lot more passes, but Sosa had more forward passes. And I figured out, I think Sosa was like, I don't even know what percent he was. He was like 30, 40 something. And Rossetto's forward pass percentage was like 20, you know, something like that. Yeah. I just feel like it was kind of from the midfield to the attack. The attack, like Araujo, he was dribbling forward, he was passing forward, all that. And the midfield was just, and the defense was kind of like, no, that's like not how we play. And that's probably how Pineda worked. And it was just a whole mess. But
Rossetto ended last season in the top 5, if not the top 10, in passing accuracy. And he was up there with Ozzy Alonso. But you look at the difference in the type of passes that are being made.
Exactly.
It's easy to have a high percentage when you're passing sideways and backwards all the time.
Exactly. If you play it safe, man, literally, there's no. I mean, obviously, your numbers are gonna be stupid, like stupid good. But
and you know who else is up there, and that's what shows the talent level. You know who else is up top?
Let's go,
Darlington Nagbe.
Woo.
And it's like, dude, but because he's not passing backwards all the freaking time. You know, like we know what you're gonna get out of Nagbe.
I mean, he's on the wish list for a lot of people too, because isn't he a
now that
Porter guy?
Porter's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about that, but still, in my opinion, the only guaranteed move is Joseph Martinez leaving. That's for me the only one, because I saw what happened to Ronaldo at United. I feel like Joseph would do the same exact thing. I'm done. I'm done with the drama and stuff. I still love him. I was like pro Joseph the whole year. I was like, bro, we should keep him, all that. No, I'm done with it now.
Reminds me of Aubameyang at Arsenal.
Yeah, that's true. But
Omar has a good question here. Is everybody coming back from the season-ending injuries? That I know of, Miles obviously is coming back. Brad Guzander's already been word that he's coming back. The only one that I'm personally iffy about is Ozzy Alonso. Tyler, I don't know if you have more info on that, whether he's guaranteed to come back next year.
He would be the lowest one on the list, but I think it was Pineda that mentioned, like, no, that was Boca actually that mentioned that they're trying to bring him back. So take that for what it's worth. I mean, but that was in that press conference the other day that Boca did after the season ended, saying that, you know, they're going to try to get Ozzy back. But yeah, Miles, you can expect with his new haircut.
He said, didn't they say he was progressing well, which was good?
Yeah.
I mean, U.S. men's national team fans that obviously don't know the situation were like, could he be back for the World Cup? He's progressing well. And I was like, I mean, no, obviously, but I mean, I think I'm surprised he's been, like, you know, running a little bit.
It wouldn't surprise me because I think originally everybody who kind of understands what's going on, like, was thinking, oh, you know, maybe get him back in 2-3 games into next season and kind of ease him back in. Yeah. I think you could realistically look at he might be ready, at least for some time, like on opening day.
Sure.
And then Guzan has straight up said, I know for a fact, like, I don't know why these people are trying to get rid of me. I'm coming back.
Is that his ego or does he feel good?
I think he feels good.
Is that his mindset?
I saw him training too, though. And he, you know, he's out there like, then this was over a month ago. And he was already out there taking, you know, diving, doing basic goalkeeping drills. I mean, I think that he's serious about it. So I really think he's going to come back and fight for that last year. And then see what happens. But he would be the one out of all of them, actually, that I would be like, oh, yeah, he's definitely coming back.
Then it's Garces and Reyes time, man. That's where the real money's made. And I'm excited, too, because it isn't Next on Apple, so I'll be able to catch – because I barely watched the twos this year. I watched, like, a couple games, but I'm definitely interested to see them in Next. And they should like, be a huge contender in that league, too, shouldn't they?
Yes.
With all that USL experience, and they're pretty good groups. So
they've basically been playing against, you know, grown freaking men for the past couple seasons, and Now they're going to be playing against kids. I mean, and it's still going to be, I think, competitive, but I think it should be a big difference, especially now too, though, because you've had the twos have had a full season to get the crap beat out of them, not because they're doing anything wrong, but they're trying to play the game that they're trying to learn the game in the way that the club wants them to learn it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good. So now you've had a full season of it. And admittedly, they started looking a lot better at the end of the season. The reflection, it doesn't show with the score lines all the time, but their cohesiveness really, really got a lot better. And so I think, going into next, I think they could definitely be contenders for sure.
Yeah.
So, just last thing before we leave, because we already hit the hour mark. I don't want to take up y'all's time too much, but
I'm chilling.
I'm here.
I'm all day, bro.
It seems like that Cincy game against Philly's just trashed, right?
0-0.5. Yeah, kind of dead. There's not been much. I mean,
So yeah, just last thing, guys. I'm pretty sure you guys saw the Jeff Lorenowitz is going to Cincinnati to be a young talent, develop young talent eventually. Why in the world would you not want him in Atlanta? Like who? Obviously I don't know whether Cincinnati came and gave him an offer first, but come on, he's a guy that knows Atlanta United well. He's been around the league. Like, I mean, come on, why not? Like, why not have him here?
That's Kubo's job. That's when he's coming back. That's his role.
I don't know. I said the same thing, man. I'm like, now granted, we don't know all the details. It could have been that maybe there was an offer made and he just said no. I don't know really any ties though that Jeff has to Ohio. Like I don't really know that that's a thing that he would care to. Like I don't know. It's just I really just think they made him an offer like that was really well worth it, because I think for all of us we kind of looked at it as like, oh man, Jeff he needs to come be like an announcer. Like he was doing such a good job, as a color commentator in some of these matches. And I think Josh, like, Atlanta has lost some of that shine. And even though you've got a guy that was a legend here in its short time, dude, you're retired. Like you can do what you want to do. And Cincinnati's making the right moves in general. And I don't think anybody looking from the outside could say Atlanta's doing the same thing. So why would you, as much as you might love the club, like why would you stick to that if it's not the right fit? But again, I don't know what all the the stuff that was said behind the scenes and all. They might have just said, "Hey, here's a freaking I don't know."
I mean, my Hawks did a good job. They got my boy Corver on player development, which is great. So I mean, that stuff is something in the future, but I feel like they're doing a good enough job down there to developing the guys anyway. They're doing great, but it always
Kevin Kratz still.
Yeah, they do have Kratz. Yeah, I totally forgot about Kratz.
Yeah.
But
But it does suck though, because you really think of a guy like Jeff. I always want to call him because I call him Larry. That's some nickname for him.
I'm pretty sure everybody calls him Larry.
Yeah, Larry.
Actually, he walked down the tunnel. One I got him to sign my hat. I think it was against Austin. Yeah, it was against Austin because nobody came out, and I saw him walking by, and that was the game that he was actually broadcasting out there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, Larry, and he was like, he looked directly at me, and I'm like, yeah, I know, that's what they call you here.
But I don't know, man. It sucks because like he's the type of guy. Him and Parkey are the type of guys that need to be involved in this club somehow. Parkey, I get it. He's got so much going on, man. He's got his Rhode Island club. He's living in Ohio.
He's doing the Garza thing too.
Yeah, he's doing the Beyond Goals mentoring thing. And so no, but Garza still lives in Atlanta, and I think Jeff does too, up until now, I guess. It's just like it just sucks, man. Like these are the guys that you want behind the scenes now.
Yeah, because essentially it's guys that have done it and know how to get it done, basically.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, guys, as usual. Oh shit, man. I forgot to, you can follow these guys, ATL Pilgrim, follow Tyler on Twitter. He's always coming out with Dirty South Soccer info. James, you can follow him at ATL Mirrorball or Kyle Don't Miss 26. My boy came out with a new
man.
page. Go check out the info. That
Yeah,
they're
my boy.
eventually gonna come out with. So
I've been writing. I've been in the lab.
cool, man. Yeah, guys, don't forget to obviously go check us out on Facebook, go Twitter. Where else are we? I think that's the only places where we're really active, honestly. Yeah, because I don't never go on the other pages, but yeah, don't forget to check us out, share the content, go follow these guys, and hopefully we'll be here next week, chatting about whatever the results are,
Yeah,
for this week. All right, guys. Let me go ahead and
And apparently they're doing goal of the year like right now. I saw it on my screen, but
Oh, really?
All right,
the
guys.
Fox halftime. I saw
Let me
something.
go ahead